It's undeniable that the music backing vocals is important. How important that is may vary from listener to listener, however. Some artists hear a beat and just don't like it or don't think it would be a hit. Other times, business gets in the way and it goes to someone else. How would you feel if you passed on a beat and it became the next rapper's hit single? Here's some times that pretty much happened. Number 1, We Gon' Make It, the lead single from Jadakiss' solo debut album Kiss the Game Goodbye, released in 2001. The song was produced by The Alchemist and features fellow Lox member Styles P. Did you know, however, that the original person that was going to use the beat was West Coast rapper Razcast? In 1999, Alchemist sold the beat to Razcast to use on his album Van Gogh for the track Home Sweet Home. Raz was initially signed to Priority Records, but they were merged into Capitol Records, and between issues like the album being bootlegged, Raz being arrested for DUI, and record label issues, the album was shelved. Alchemist allegedly received the first half of the payment for the beat, but not the second, despite reaching out to Raz and his label, so he wound up looking for other people to buy the beat. It wound up being sold to Jadakiss for his album and becoming the classic song that we know it to be. This led to Razcast having a long-lasting beef with The Alchemist for what he perceived as Alchemist essentially doing bad business. Both have gone on various interviews and stated their opinions. For example, Razcast on his official YouTube channel has a video where he's reacting to an interview with Alchemist where he explains his side of the story with what happened with the beat. Alchemist states that someone from Priority bought 3 beats from them, but they never followed up on the deal, so he decided to use it for something else.
You mentioned We Gon' Make It, and I know that was somewhat controversial record when it came out. What happened?
We Gon' Make It, the way that happened was this dude, Ray, I think, I forget, he worked at Priority. They bought a bunch of beats off of me, like a 3-package deal, and I tracked a bunch of beats, never heard back from them. And so later on, when that type of thing would happen back then, I was like, yeah, I'm using that beat for something else.
According to Alchemist, he played it for various artists like Nas and Jay-Z as well, but it wound up with Jadakiss.
People don't even know, I tracked that beat for Nas. After that, when Nas was doing the 41st album, he picked that beat and I tracked it to a 2-inch tape for him. It was gonna be his solo song. And then he left town, came back, and they're like, nah, he didn't do it. Nashawn is gonna use it or something. And I was like, I took it back. I also played We Gon' Make It for Jay-Z in person.
That could have been a Nas record, it could have been a Jay-Z.
Could have been a Nas record, could have been a Jay record. Very close, yes.
Raz reacted by stating that it was essentially revisionist history and that Alchemist shouldn't have taken back the beat after the record label paid for the beat, and states that he even recorded the first verse of the song as well as the chorus months before Alchemist even played the beat for Jadakiss. He also made an appearance on the podcast My Expert Opinion with Math Hoffa and repeated the story there. What do you think about it though? To me, if Alchemist really did that, then yeah, obviously it's a case of shady business and I can't really blame Raz for having some level of distrust or animosity with Alchemist after that. Anyway though, that Home Sweet Home track is pretty good. If you never heard it, give it a listen. I haven't mentioned Razcast a lot in this channel, but he's definitely one of the best lyricists I've ever heard. Number 2, In the Club, the hit single from 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin' album released in 2003. This song was all over the radio, and you might think this beat was especially made for 50 the way he made it such a classic track, but quite the contrary. The beat, produced by Dr. Dre and Mike Elizondo, was actually made for the Detroit group D12. Some say that D12 passed on it, and some say that it was a label decision to give it to 50 Cent as he would make it into a hit. Regardless of the reason, one thing is for sure, he turned it into a freaking hit without a doubt. D12 did wind up rapping on the beat as well though on the track Kickin' the Door, which was a diss track to Murder Inc., who 50 Cent and crew were beefing with at the time. That beef I've covered on the channel before, so check that video out for the details on that situation. This one at least kind of stayed in-house, you could say, since D12 and 50 both had the Eminem affiliation. This next one though has a bit of irony considering who the beat started and wound up with. Number 3, Candy Shop. Once again, another beat that went to 50 Cent. Candy Shop is another hit single, this time from 50's second album, The Massacre, which was released in 2005. The beat, produced by Scott Storch, was originally offered to Fat Joe, who also helped produce it according to Joe himself. Ironically enough, 50 Cent and Fat Joe were beefing at this time due to the fact that Fat Joe collaborated with Ja Rule and Jadakiss on the hit single New York from Ja Rule's 6th album, R.U.L.E., released in 2004. Personally, Candy Shop is one of my favorite 50 Cent songs. I remember hearing it back in school, and it was one of those first songs I could really remember the lyrics to. It was all over the radio. It was one of the biggest songs of the decade, really, and helped catapult 50 even further. According to Fat Joe, he essentially gave Scott Storch a melody to play, and Storch played it, which led to the beat, and Scott called him numerous times offering the beat to him, but Joe listened to his friends who said that it sounded too similar to his previous hit single, Lean Back, which was also produced by Scott Storch. Also, considering Scott has worked with Dre on numerous occasions, it makes sense that the beat would wind up in the hands of 50, who Dre had been working with along with Eminem. During an episode of Drink Champs, hosted by NORE and DJ EFN, Scott Storch explained how the situation occurred.
You know, the bulk of the main part of the song, you know what I mean? All that, like, yeah, obviously it's my language, it's my keyboards, it's my drums, all that stuff. But, you know, I sat, and he was an inspiration to me during the making that, and then his suggestion to put the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
But he ain't hit no buttons.
No, I mean, he doesn't get, you know.
Is he a writer on the record?
Is he a writer on the record?
Right.
I mean, technically, contribution? Yeah, by saying, let's use this.
Right. Yeah,
like,
right. That is kind of producing.
Yeah, like, you know, I'm not taking credit away from me. Look, I love collaborating with people, but, you know, yeah, in this particular instance, we were in the room, we make it, but I was making that song for him.
For him?
For him. I wasn't making that song for 50 Cent.
Right.
After Joe declined the beat, 50 came to Miami and listened to some of the beats Scott was selling, and he picked Candy Shop as well as the beat for Just a Little Bit, which is yet another hit single from 50 Cent that was on the album too. Around this time, 50 Cent and Fat Joe would start beefing as well, so maybe Joe should have just used the beat. Number 4. Aston Martin Music. The hit single from Rick Ross's fourth album, Teflon Don, released in 2010, featuring Chrisette Michele and Drake. The song was produced by the group Justice League. On the album version of the song, Drake is featured only on the chorus. However, on the video version, Drake has a verse in the song as well. If you were a Drake listener back then you know that he released a track titled Paris Morton Music, which used the same beat and has the same verse from Aston Martin Music. I've never been a big Ross listener, so I've always just listened to Paris Morton Music mainly, as it's one of my favorite Drake tracks of all time. According to Rook of the Justice League, they didn't do the beat specifically for Ross, and they had even sent the beat to Drake beforehand. Rick Ross did the song, then DJ Khaled sent it to Drake, and Drake reached out to Rook asking why he didn't send the beat to him, to which Rook replied that he actually had sent it to him. Drake wound up officially releasing the Paris Morton track on his compilation album, Care Package, released in August 2019. Aston Martin Music was named after the car, of course, just like his label MMG is named after the Maybach car brand. Paris Morton Music, on the other hand, is named after the model Paris Morton. This next beat here involves Drake too, but it is a bit more complicated than this one here. Number 5. 0 to 100 / The Ketchup. The hit song by Drake released in 2014 caused quite a controversy. According to Diddy, the song was supposed to be his and he had asked Drake to ghostwrite for him, but apparently Drake decided to just keep the beat for himself and record and put the song out instead. In December 2014, at a party for DJ Khaled at Club Live in Miami, Diddy and Drake got into an altercation with Diddy allegedly physically assaulting Drake over the song. According to an interview with Charlemagne the God on Vlad TV, he got a call at 4 a.m. telling him that Diddy slapped Drake outside the club. Diddy, in an interview on The Breakfast Club, would deny hitting Drake, but he did admit that the issue he had with him was over the beat. The song got pretty great reviews by people, and many would say that they're glad Drake kept the beat for himself, as Diddy isn't that great of a rapper anyway. If Drake really did keep the beat though without Diddy's permission, then I don't think that's cool at all, even if Drake did beat justice. On the other hand though, Diddy slapping Drake over it is a bit much too. However, this isn't the first time Diddy allegedly approached someone and things escalated. Remember the whole situation of Diddy hitting Steve Stout with the bottle that Nas mentioned on the song Last Real Nigga Alive? Or the scuffle that he had of J. Cole that Cole mentioned on the track Let Go My Hand? That's not to mention all of these recent allegations that surfaced involving sexual assault and even the Kid Cudi car incident. Number 6. Nothing on You. The debut single from Georgia rapper B.O.B. featuring Bruno Mars. It was released in 2009 and was the lead single from his debut album B.O.B. Presents The Adventures of Bobby Ray, which was released in April 2010. The song was a Billboard chart topper and multi-platinum selling single. This song is a bit of a mess though. It was produced and co-written by the group the Smeezingtons, which Bruno Mars is a part of. And according to Bruno, a certain executive in the record industry wanted to give the song to a white artist instead. That speaks a bit on a whole other issue, but you know who was rapping on the track before B.O.B? Fellow Atlantic Records artist Lupe Fiasco. Lupe has had multiple problems with Atlantic Records, which I've covered in a prior video. According to Lupe, Atlantic Records executive Craig Kallman told Lupe that his performance on the song was whack, and the song wound up being given to B.O.B instead, who put his own verses on it. Lupe's version of the song wound up being leaked online later. This isn't the only time that a Lupe track wound up going to someone else though. Number 7. Airplanes. The hit song by B.O.B featuring Hayley Williams, also from his debut album B.O.B Presents The Adventures of Bobby Ray. This song was a multi-platinum Billboard topping single like the prior song and helped propel B.O.B to stardom. The song was recorded by Lupe to be put on his then upcoming album Lasers, and just like the previous song, it was given to B.O.B instead, and Lupe's version was leaked online. Lupe has spoken on his issues with these songs and others on Instagram Live and Twitter, basically stating that his problem was not that he was against making the songs, but more so disagreements with the ownership behind the songs. According to Lupe, Atlantic wanted near full ownership of these songs, which he was not going for, understandably so. Once again, check out my video about Lupe Fiasco and Atlantic Records for more details on that. Number 8. Pump It Up. The lead single by Joe Budden from his self-titled debut album in 2003. Because of this song, some people like to call him a one-hit wonder. That aside though, this beat produced by Just Blaze was offered to other artists like Jay-Z, Beanie Sigel, and Freeway before Joe, who was a newly signed artist to Def Jam. This beat also started the beef between Joe Budden and Jay-Z. Apparently, Joe Budden asked Jay-Z to get on the song for the remix, and Jay-Z quoted him an absurd price for it, which Joe declined, and then Jay wound up rapping over the beat himself anyway and sending shots at Joe too. Joe then rapped over the beat again himself in response to Jay-Z. Number 9. Mercy. The hit single from the compilation album Cruel Summer, released by Good Music in 2012 that features Ye, Big Sean, Pusha T, and 2 Chainz. If you don't know, the song is named after the Lamborghini Murcielago. The car is so expensive I can't even pronounce or spell it without Google. The beat was given to Kid Ink before the Good Music crew. You remember Kid Ink. He had a hit song called Show Me featuring Chris Brown, released in 2013. I never really listened to him, but I remember him because my girlfriend at that time said he was one of her favorite rappers. Kid Ink in interviews would state that the beat for Mercy was originally meant to go to him, but he passed on it for a reason you might not quite expect. Apparently the reason he didn't use the beat is because he didn't own a Lambo, so he felt it would be fake to rap about one. A bit surprising really. Plenty of rappers rap about things they sure don't have. I respect the integrity on that one though. Now before we get to number 10, I just want to remind everybody to check out the channel on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, all that good stuff as usual. And of course, like the video if you like the video. Now, number 10, Jigga My Nigga. Just like we started with Jadakiss, we're gonna wrap up the list with him as well. This hit single was featured on the Ride or Die Volume 1 compilation album, as well as Jay-Z's 4th album, Volume 3, both released in 1999. The beat, produced by Swiss Beats, was originally given to Jadakiss, not to be confused with Jigga That Nigga, produced by the Trackmasters from Jay-Z's 6th album, Blueprint, which happens to be one of my favorite Jay-Z songs. According to Swizz, the Jigga that you hear on the chorus by Eve was originally Jada, as the song was going to be for Jadakiss. However, there's a bit of a conflicting story, as in an interview by Rob Markman, Jadakiss said that he never heard the song until it was complete, and he wished he had a chance at the beat himself.
Song that, Jigga My Nigga.
That was because that was on the Rough Rider compilation.
Yeah,
First,
but
that
I
was
never heard it till it was done, and I'm like, yo, why you ain't let me get that beat, dog? I wish.
Considering they both come from the same label, you would think that they would be on the same page with exactly what happened and why the beat was given to Jay-Z instead. But regardless, the fact remains that it became a hit song. The beat was switched up a bit and also used for the track Scenario 2000 by Eve, featuring DMX, The Lox, and Drag On from Eve's debut album Let There Be Eve, Rough Rider's First Lady, released in September 1999. That was just 10, but you know there's more. What do you think about these beats? Do you think the artist that got them did them justice? What list would you like to see next? Let me know in the comment section below.